Yeah, g'day folks. Out sifting some yellow brick sand again today. I noticed some clay balls in some of the yellow I was using the other day. So over here, that in there in that bucket, it's probably only a third full, maybe even a quarter full, is two of these trays. Not quite full, that have been drying yellow bricky sand from a bag. But this time it's from a different supplier, different garden supply place, building supply place, but apparently still coming from the same quarry. So I think it's concerning. I haven't seen clay like this. Look at that. All of that came out of that amount of sand there. Yeah, that's a lot. And that's clay and silt, but they're lumps. I could squash them by hand if I really give it a good hard go, but I want to do it on video so you can see how it changes, the colour changes. So that's a lot when you consider that. It might not be outside the supposed Australian standards once it's all broken down. It might be less than 10% that goes through a 75 micron sieve, but when you consider the lumps in a dry bricky sand that's been sitting around for a couple of weeks drying in these trays, and then going through a sieve like this, yeah, and having that many lumps just from that much sand, that's probably not even 2 shovels of sand. That many lumps, which we'll investigate. I think it's worth really investigating a lot further. Look at the size of these guys. Yeah, you can hear that's I'm not making this stuff up. They're like rocks. But I will soon. I'm going to have to pause, but I'll break those up with my fingers if possible, and we'll do it on something so we can see the colour properly. And you'll see that most of it's clay. You can see this one. Look at this one. You can see inside here the colour. It's got a tiny bit of sand stuck to the outside of it all. All of these have a tiny bit of yellow sand, but most of it's going to be clay, which is concerning. So if you're getting pit marks and holes on your jobs after you've built the walls, you've done your jointing, you've done a good job, and a bricklayer's come along, and then all of a sudden there's holes in your mud, in your bed joints and perps, and the builder comes to you, at least if you've checked out your sand and you've kept some of these as evidence, then you've got a leg to stand on. You don't. It's not all about the bricklayer or the labourer. You might be able to go back to the brick yard, the sand supply yard, who might have to go back to the quarry. But important to know this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to pause. All right, so here we go. I appreciate this might get a bit boring, but if you want to bear with me and learn about this sort of stuff, then I've got to keep videoing one-handed while I crush this. I've gone and got this little shovel, plastic shovel, just so we can see the colour. So I'm just going to scrape it first. I don't know how focused that is. So with this big one, this is a big one, you can start to see the colour coming out in it now. So it's going to be a lot whiter. It's a lot lighter than the actual yellow. So that is a clump of clay and sand. Here's another one. That's not as wide as I thought it would be, but let's have a look here. Here we go. It's a clump of orange bricky sand, or not quite sure what it could be. I reckon these. It's very orange. It's not an oxide, it's sand. Clay, silt and clay, so obviously there's another orange one in there, just there, and another few other little colours here. Sorry, I know this is boring, but it is interesting surely. especially if you're having problems with your clay, your bricky sand. Right, so that's a browny colour compared to the orangey red. It's fairly similar, it's a bit darker. This one you can see is quite white. Yeah. There's a lot of white clay in that one. I sort of mucked that up because I had that orange on my finger, but that was quite white. Here's another quite white one. I'll do that here. Hang on, I'm just going to change my zoom and see what happens. Oh, I think that focus is better like that. That's really quite white. That's clay. I've got a few different colours happening. Here's another browny sort of lump that was in there. That's really tough. I'm not sure what that is. It's bloody hard. Right, that one there is just a big stone, probably bigger than what's supposed to be in bricky sand. However, it's just a stone. Let's have a look at this one. I'm going to squash that with this. Maybe. Oh, well, that didn't work. I'm going to do this over here on the table so I can crush it up. That is really quite hard. I don't know what that is. That's a broken stone too, I think. I'm going to keep that one aside. We might hit that one with a hammer later. I might do a few more in the tray. That's sand and clay. There's another big one. Sand and clay. Yeah. Well, it's contaminated by another sand. So if you've got orange sand, does that mean you should have orange clay? Or does white clay live inside orange sand? Is it? These are questions I need to find out the answers to. Here's a brownie coloured one. There's some white ones. Oh man, look at that, that's really white. I think this one will be about the same. Honestly, I'm squeezing those quite hard. Yeah, they're not breaking easy. Look, I'm dropping them from a fair old distance. That sounds like a stone. That's a bit of sand there, but the rest is just clay and silt. What colour is that? That's another white one. So most of it, I think, is the whitey sort of colour. And some of the smaller brown ones are back around this sort of colour. Oh, that's a hard... Oh no, is it a stone? No, it's not a stone. I'm down to the stone now, I think. No, I'm not. I'm able to break that. That was really hard, but I can crush it in my hands and fingernails. That's another colour altogether. I don't think this is normal to have that many clumps, dry clumps, listen to them, like stones, out of that much sand. Just to go back, that's the stuff that stayed inside the sieve, as you can see. So I sieved all that sand. That's what remained. They're bigger than the sieve holes. So keep those. There'll be some clay in there too, not much, but there will be some clay, little clay balls. But this is what we're looking at here. Look, it's a lot. That's too much. It's out of about 2 shovels of sand, not even. Maybe 1 shovel of sand. So anyhow, I don't want to pause because then I want this to be, you know, really authentic. So I'm not going to pause, I'll keep going. You can just continue to watch or not watch. I'm going to record all this. I think I need to, I think I might go to, or contact the brickyard, brick supply, garden supply, sand supply place. I'm just going to pause because of the plane. Okay, just pulled it back a bit so you can see the colours a bit better. Got another one here, really hard. I doubt whether that'll break up just spinning around in the mixer because it's quite hard to crush in my fingers. Another one. That's going to be a whitish yellowy sort of colour too. It's a bit more yellow than those white ones. That one I can't do. They're getting a bit tough now. These smaller ones, you can see the colour of that one. Can you? Probably see it here. Really white. Look, I might just do a couple more. I think you get the gist of it. I don't think there's going to be anything too much different now. So we've got maybe one, we've got a deep sort of yellow. We've got a deeper yellow heading towards an orange, but that's an orange almost brick red. That's another yellow. Then we've got yellow and white, yellow and fairly white there. And back to that sort of colour. I don't think it's going to be many other colours. But I reckon that's really interesting. And I don't think it's normal to have that amount of, I've said it enough. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to follow this up.